Well, I'm known as the grumpy vlogger. I'll gripe and complain longer. Please do me the ado and kindly view me on YouTube.
Turn on my mic. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to podcast number 12. Uh, I want to reach out and thank all the community that has gotten together as we're doing the lot of remembrance of our dear friend Rick Albert. Had some great discussions, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about tonight. Not necessarily Rick, but how this community has come together. So, uh, just remember, if you're looking for a place to host your podcast, go to anchor.fm. They're hosted by Spotify. And this is not a paid announcement. It's uh, just my thoughts on it. So, okay. uh, over the past week, well, since a week ago, this last Friday, I think the 12th. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Uh, we lost a dear friend, Rick Halber, in the drone YouTube community. He's uh, he's one of those men that's generous, who was generous with beyond fault. You know, he gave so much, and all he ever asked for was your friendship. And those of us that have been involved in the YouTube community over the last few years, especially like with myself, I think since 2017, we have made a lot of friends. It's hard to say friends when you're talking about people on YouTube, on the internet, but we really have. I consider these people my friends. I've had some great comments coming in from people. And one of the things is, uh, let's see, my camera's out of center. There we go. One of the things that keeps coming up is, whatever happened to, or whatever happened to, or wow, I wished I'd called. That's what being a community is about. If I don't know where so and so's at, I can reach out to somebody and they can maybe tell me how to get hold of them. And that's what we need to do as a community, especially in this time of the pandemic is it's winding down, and as COVID is finally dying out. It's not going to go away. It's going to be with us forever. But it's COVID-19 this last year. It'll be COVID 20 or 21 or 22 in another year from now. And it's something we have to be vigilant about. But the one thing we need to do is make sure we stay in touch with our fellow uh, YouTube and uh, drone community friends. There's, there's been so much said about Rick Albert that I can't even begin to touch on. Pardon me for that. But there's so much kindness. This was a man, and I think a friend of mine, Chris Hope, said it last night. We did a remembering Rick Albert show last night with a gentleman called Jim Boyd, who was my running mate when I ran for president of the United States, not of the student council, but uh, it was. It was Chris Hope that said it best. Above and Beyond Drones is where we had this show last night, remembering Rick, and we exchanged stories about his generosity, his kindness, his uh, everything he did. And Chris said the greatest thing that Rick ever gave him, of all the stuff he sent to all the people, all the gifts, the kindness, the best thing he ever gave to anybody, or at least to Chris, in his opinion, was his friendship. It didn't cost Rick anything. Robocalls. I'll touch on that after a bit. But it didn't cost anything for Rick to give his friendship, and he gave it freely. And in return, he got friendship back. And it didn't cost us anything to give him our friendship. And that's what we do here. It doesn't matter whether you send somebody a fancy drone or you send him a, uh, uh, you know, any number of things. I'm trying to think of things you could send that's just inexpensive. Stickers, you know, stickers are the they're the one thing that a lot of us give out, and we're able to do that. They're inexpensive to make. They're not expensive, but I mean they can be. But compared to some of the other things that Rick sent out, he was happy to do it. And friendship is the one thing you can give out without costing you a dime. So especially those of us in the community that are older, we need to reach out. We need to touch. We need to make sure that we have a way to contact people in our circle. You know, uh, here in the South, we have an old tradition. It's called a calling circle, prayer circle, or whatever. When somebody in the community passes away, you call so and so, and so and so and so and so, and then those people are in charge of getting hold of other people. And that's how the news spread. I was very blessed in which Lisa Halber, Rick's sister, reached out to me and explained that he'd passed. Well, first explained that he was sick, and then said she'd give me an update. He was in the hospital, and then she called me, or not called me, but she texted me, messaged me uh, to let me know that he'd passed last Friday. So I was able to get hold of a couple of people and post it on Facebook, and those people got hold of other people, and it just made me stop and think that this is what we need to do. We need to have a set pattern of getting in contact with people. There's people we've lost. There was a gentleman, his channel name was Ray Bob's Antics. Nobody had heard from him. He had been an integral part of the Ken Heron Thursday Night Live show. A big contributor to that channel, just a great, wonderful person. He passed away from COVID back in June, and we didn't hear about it until almost September. So we can't let that happen again. A lot of people were shocked by Rick's illness. A lot of us knew it was coming. Steve Carpenter and I had talked about it. SC SC Aerials, I think. I'll put a link in the description below. But anyways, Steve and I had talked about that, and so what I'm saying is we need to have a communication chain. We need to have a call circle, if you will. Last night on the Remembering Rick show with Above and Beyond Drones, Jim Boyd, another person was brought to mind, and this is also in connection with Rick Halber. Rick, when I announced I was going to run for president, of course it was satire. But Rick reached out and says, I'd like to do you a yard campaign sign. And he set it up and designed it and then sent it to another gentleman by the name of Jim Wallace, who has a graphics shop. He makes everything from t-shirts to buttons, and he made this full-size yard sign. I mean, we're talking, it's probably 2.5 foot it's probably 24 by 36, let's say, in inches. So you metric people have to figure that on your own. But so he reached out, and I'm just checking the time. Sorry. He reached out to Jim Wallace. They reached out to me. They came up with an idea. Rick paid for it. It was all his idea. And Jim Wallace reached down and or decided to reach out and made some campaign buttons. And a lot of people have those campaign buttons because I've sent them all over. Rick Halber, pardon me, Rick Halber had some made. I had some made, and we've given them out everywhere. But the thing was, is since then, uh, none of us. We were talking last night. Nobody heard from Jim Wallace. I happen to remember I had his phone number somewhere, and I found it. So I texted him last night, and he contacted me back today, and he's been very ill. He's also dealing with some major depression. It's been unfortunately a big part of his life since he was in the service. And so that's another person I've been, and I explained to him, since Rick's rather sudden passing, or unexpected passing, because Rick had always beat things. He was just one of those guys that he managed to push on through. But this time he didn't. But so I reached out to Jim Wallace, and then I let both Jim Boyd from Above and Beyond Drone and Steve Carpenter, SC Aerials, let him know that I had heard from Jim. Jim contacts me after I contacted them, contacts me, I don't know, probably 30 minutes or so after I got hold of them, and he'd got a call from Ken Heron. Now, I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if, this, because of this, but Jim was appreciative that Ken Heron had reached out to him. Now, those of you in the drone / YouTube community, Ken Heron's kind of a big deal, just like Kelly Shores and a few others. I'm small potatoes, and I will always be, and I'm happy with that. But this is something we need to do. We need to make sure especially those of us that are older, and those, we need to make sure that when something happens, we can get in contact with anybody through one way or another. So let's focus on that. Let's take this lesson that Rick Albert taught us, and that's always be generous and kind, if nothing else, with your friendship. You know, it doesn't cost anything to be a friend. So now I've covered that subject. Let's go on to that phone ringing just a minute ago. I am frustrated with robocalls. I don't know how many y'all get a day, but I start getting them about 9 o'clock in the morning. Fortunately, I have my phone silenced until noon. But I don't hear them until then, and I have to go through and block probably 10, 15 a day. And right now, they're all from the 833 area code. If you by chance accidentally answer them, it just increases. If anybody has a great way to stop these, now I use an iPhone and I can block them, but it just is. There's got to be a way just to stop them from coming in automatically. I get so sick and tired of, and of course, my wife, she hears the phone ring, and if I haven't brought it with me, she's reaching over there trying to find my phone, fumbling, and uh, she's constantly trying to catch the phone, and it turns out to be one of these, hi, I'm calling from Social Security, and I would like to help you with your Medicare. No, you're not. I don't want you. Leave us alone. Stuff like that. And so, if any of you are frustrated with robocalls like I am, reach out to me and come up with an idea. And y'all can find out how to get in contact with me at grumpyvlogger.info, which is my homepage. You can catch me through YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Any number of ways to reach out to me. Most of you know how. If you have a great app that works on the iPhone, other than I use AT&T, so I have their Call Protect, even it is a waste. It doesn't do its job. How can we stop this? We need to collectively get together as phone users and force our service providers to start blocking these numbers. I mean, and they're like 1-800-336 2265, 2266, 2267. They just keep scrolling down until one time I answer, And usually it's not me that's answering. Sometimes it's Judy grabs the phone. It's like, keep telling her, don't answer those. Uh, it's just frustrating. I don't know about you, but I am fed up with robocalls. I am completely fed up with it. My apologies, folks. It is springtime in Oklahoma. Sinus drainage, sinuses, all of that crap. Welcome to the South. Oklahoma's got the highest allergies per capita, I think, of any state in the union. Uh, we had a doctor one time move up from Texas, and he says he's never been sicker in his life until he moved to Oklahoma, and he was moving back to Texas because allergies weren't so bad. So, anyways, so my apologies for that, but yeah, robocall. What other things aggravate you? What other things are out there that are just absolutely frustrating to you? Robocalls is my thing. I just can't stand them. I just, it's just one of those things that just drives me nuts. So, anyways, I'm not going to make this a real long one today. Remember, uh, if you would like, you can find me. Uh, Actually, I will go on a little bit more. Remember to reach out to your friends. Let me recap today's show. Reach out to friends that you haven't heard from in a while. If you know how to get somebody that you haven't heard from, or other people are saying they haven't heard from, reach out to them. Let's make sure we have a connection with each other. So if something happens to one, it can go on down the line until it comes back around. And we need to sort of have a rapid response call circle for rapid response. That's just a fancy word, but it's something it's a catchphrase, but we need to have something like that. We need to reach out to our fellow YouTubers and drone enthusiasts. That's the one thing I've got to say about Rick Halber. He never said anything bad about anybody. And I'm sure he knew the secrets on a lot of us. And yet he kept it to himself. And I want to extend prayers out to his family for the loss of such a great man. I think by now they will appreciate it. And one other thing, those of you that have not heard but are part of the YouTube drone community, if you would like to, by the end of, I believe, let's just say Friday. I think it might be Monday, but Friday, U.S. time. Matt North of Northeast Drone Productions. I think it's Northeast Drone Productions at gmail.com. He is accepting 10-second clips. He'd like you to get your drone out and do like a flyaway or just anything. Put your name, on the video. Put it in the video somewhere. Text across there. Your name, your channel name. And where you are doing this from. So Tim Jackson came up with the idea on the show that was being done Saturday evening, and he's put that together so far. But you can get hold of him and get the particulars. You can find it all over YouTube. So keep that in mind. If you want that clip in, time's running out. So because this will be sent to Rick Halber's family. And they can either use it in a memorial service or, and it'll be sent to some of the others around so that it can be used. And Matt, if you hear this, I would love to have a finished copy of it. I don't care about the music. You can put whatever music you're on. I don't give a flip about YouTube strikes. I'm not monetized anyway. So let's just, you can, don't have to worry about that with me. But anyways, so again, you reach out to Matt North of Northwest Drone Productions, okay? Northeast Drone Productions on YouTube. And with that, I'm going to kind of do my closing comments here. Remember, you can find me on Facebook at the Grumpy Vlogger. You can find me on Twitter at the Grumpy at LLJU1, I believe. And don't forget to check out Anchor by Spotify, in which you can hear all of these audio podcasts. And if you hearing the audio podcast, remember you can catch me on YouTube as the Grumpy Vlogger, and you should be able to. You'll know who I am. So, with that said and done, I want to finish up and one final thought. And remember, reach out to your friends, check on them, make sure they're okay. If something happens, let others know so that we can help show support. And let's stop robocalls, okay? I'm going to finish this up and then we'll stop it. Okay, remember what I say, folks. Be kind. Let's all strive to be like Rick was. Treat each other better than you would treat yourselves. Remember, all lives matter. Let's pray for Rick Halber's family, the Halber family, and their loss. Let's pray for any of the loved ones or people who are ill. Let's remember Jim Wallace. He's struggling right now. And God bless, God help the USA. I'm the Grumpy Vlogger, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye for now.